Hey guys, T-Gem here. I am doing this video on request because several people have asked me for my opinion about uh, Netflix's newest series, Iron Fist. And a lot of these people had asked me before, asked me to do this because they feel as if, though first of all they valued my opinion. And secondly, a lot of people felt that I am, very truthful and very honest on what I say, about, either shows, movies, as compared to the source material. And, so I gonna oblige them and sort of give them my thoughts on. Well, not into the series as a whole. I only watched the first 2 episodes, and I will gonna give my thoughts on what I think of the series so far. So, this tells the origin story of the Iron Fist, Danny Rand, and his coming back to, I guess, quote unquote, reality, into everyday life, and him trying to find his way back in the world again after being, declared dead for many years. And as far as the source material goes, I honestly haven't read a lot of Iron Fist stories. The only Iron Fist stories I've ever read were the ones done by Matt Fraction and Ed Brubaker, which led into the Immortal Weapons series, which both series are awesome. You should read those and check those out. But as far as like origin stories, I'm not totally familiar with Iron Fist. I mean, I do know things here and there about him. But as far as his origin stories goes, all I know is that he went to Kunglun, trained in as martial arts there, and fought that immortal dragon and defeated him and took his essence into him to become the immortal Iron Fist. That's pretty much the gist of what I know now. So as far as origin stories goes, I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up, because I think it's a more modern day and a more realistic type of approach, as far as someone basically coming back from quote unquote the dead and trying to find their place back in the world, where they'll pick up the pieces where they left off. It's been done before, but I think this is done in a more detailed sort of way. Now, the only real problem I have, there's actually 2 problems I have with this show so far. And the first problem I have with it is the fight scenes themselves. Now, I'm going to be sort of unfair here. I'm going to compare this show's fight scenes with Daredevil's fight scenes. Now, like I said, it's to me it seems unfair because they're 2 different shows and they shouldn't really be compared. But the fluidity in both of them are very different, because Daredevil's seem very organic. They seem very realistic. They seem very like it would happen in a real fight. Like all that stuff would happen in a real fight. Iron Fist, on the other hand, I've noticed that it seemed a lot more choreographed and a lot more like a dance, and that was disappointing to me. I'm hoping that it improves as the series goes on, as I watch the series. But as far as the 2 episodes go, I was very disappointed on seeing that. The other thing that I was sort of bothered with, this actually disturbed me quite a bit, was excuse me. Excuse me, I got allergies, so Anyway, back to what I was saying. What disturbed me most about this about the show was the way they treat Danny when he comes back. Now, granted, his appearance isn't very flattering, but throughout the entire time, they treat him very, very unfairly. And the entire time that he tried to get people's attention, he did it very respectfully and very politely, and tried to be as cordial and as respectful as possible. And what disturbed me about it is that people were almost the entire character, all the characters, almost all the characters that he tried to talk to and tried to convince that he was Danny Rand, basically treated him like crap. They blew him off. They were very rude to him, and it made me angry. Like, I know this is not reality and how people don't really act in New York, but then I've heard stories that people actually came from New York, and they're like, yeah, people are rude from New York. So, that's very disheartening to hear that. Very, very disheartening. And yeah, I don't know if they were trying to go for a realistic take or just show us like how emotional, how this character's emotional roller coaster will go. I'm not sure, but that just made me angry and disturbed me, and I don't know if I like it or dislike it, but it definitely made me think about how people are. So yeah, what I can say about Daredevil as a whole, for the first 2 episodes though. The story's coming along very well. I do like the story. I do like sort of the corporate side of things. The corporate sort of espionage. Well, not in really espionage, but sort of corporate underbelly. The dark underbelly of corporate things that happen, on the other side of corporate politics. And some of the actors are doing very well. I really like the acting in this one. And my interest peaked a little bit better, a little more, when a certain group of individuals that were in another show get mentioned and sort of have an appearance, quote unquote, an appearance in this show, and that made me smile. I really like that. I said, okay, so this is where this is going. Okay, great. My interest really peaked now, so I'm definitely going to see where this goes as far as that group is concerned. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to find out for yourselves. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as the show and sort of the books are concerned is that Danny as a person. Now, Danny, in all the books that I read with him, in either like New Avengers or in his book, from the, like I said, the only book that I have, and other like Power Man, Iron Fist. Danny seems like he's a very lighthearted person. He's a very, he's very thoughtful, but he's a very level-headed person. In this, I can't quite pinpoint what type of person he is, but he's definitely not as joyful as his counterpart. He's not really depressed or dark, but I guess you could say he's kind of bland. Even though he's trying to prove a point, he doesn't really have a character per se. He doesn't have a personality to him. All he really is trying to prove a point, and that's it. I really would like to see more emotion from him, and more, even though he was trained to be a fighting monk in the show, and it shows, but really would like to see more personality from him, and show more character from him. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna watch the rest of these episodes within the coming week and let you guys know how it is. So take care, guys. Talk to you guys soon.